A strong and unusually direct criticism has come from a senior US official, putting Mr. Benjamin Netanyahu under the spotlight at a time when tensions in the Middle East they are already running high. Tom Barrack, who serves as the US ambassador to Turkey and special envoy for Syria, he publicly stated that Mr. Netanyahu he does not respect borders while speaking at a diplomatic forum. This particular remark, it has quickly triggered debate as such blunt language from the US representative, and that too towards a key ally. That's rare, and it signals growing concern within Washington over Israel's recent action. Ladies and gentlemen, Barak's comments, they come amid the rising criticism that Israel's military operations are expanding far beyond its borders and risking further instability in that region. Observers pointed out to a pattern of cross-border strikes and aggressive posturing that, according to the critics, it may be complicating the ongoing diplomatic efforts and raising the chances of a wider conflict here. In the meantime, the concern is not just about immediate security. No, it is about the long-term consequences of continued escalation in an already volatile geopolitical environment. Within the United States, there appears to be a growing debate how far support for Israel should extend. Specifically, if actions on the ground they begin to conflict with broader American strategic goal here. In fact, some policymakers and analysts they fear that unchecked escalation it could pull in the United States into a larger confrontation, particularly with Iran, which remains a central player in the region's tension, by the way. Well, the risk of miscalculation, whether through military action or retaliatory move, it continues to loom large. And yes, at the very same time, diplomatic efforts aimed at reducing the tension that have been going involving multiple regional and international actors. However, statements like Barrack suggest that there is frustration over what is perceived as a lack of coordination or restraint. Here, critics argue that aggressive action it can undermine fragile negotiations and make it more and more difficult to reach any form of lasting stability or agreement. Now, Israel on its part, it has consistently defended its action as necessary for national security, particularly in response to perceived the threat from the neighboring region and armed groups. Well, this creates a very complex situation where security concern and diplomatic priorities they often collide, leaving very little room for easy solution. The gap between these perspectives is one of the key challenges facing lawmakers today. In the end, let me conclude this for you. Barrack's remarks highlight a moment of tension, not just in the Middle East, but also within alliances that have traditionally been very strong and stable. While there have been no immediate official response from Mr. Netanyahu here, but the statement, it has added another layer to an already complicated situation. As regional dynamics continue to shift, such public disagreement, it could signal deeper strategic differences and shape how the future policies and partnership evolve.